Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So, as you all may know, those of you who are interested in astrology and whatnot, and you keep up with the transits, you may know or may not know that Mercury is in retrograde. So, this usually takes place about 3 times a year. I know we're going to have another retrograde in the summertime, but right now it's taking place during Pisces season. I'm basically just going to be talking about what you could look for during this retrograde. For example, there will be an interference with transport and transportation in general. So you may experience an invalid boarding pass, flight cancellations, or a delay at the airport. Traffic jams could take place depending on what city you're in. I know if you're in a small town, things are pretty free flowing due to the fact that there's not that much traffic in general. But if you are in a larger city or a city that relies on transport via a car or buses, trains, all of that, traffic jams could take place. Expect unexpected detours as well, as there could be accidents on the road, and so detours definitely could be something to look forward to. And the police could be actively doing traffic stops and giving out violations for expired tags, texting on your cell phone, being on your cell phone in general, invalid registration, invalid insurance. So expect an interference with transport during this time because Mercury does represent vehicles, it does represent transportation in general, and it represents the conveniency of just pulling your phone out and ordering a Uber or going down to the bus station and putting $1 in or however much it costs to ride the public transport, or getting on a train as well. Like, that's the conveniency of Mercury, and Gemini really does represent that. Miscommunication is another thing that could take place during this retrograde. Expect for emails, text messages, and conversations to be taken the wrong way. People just may take what you say in a slightly different way than what you have intended it to mean. So, misunderstandings is a possibility. People are inclined to misinterpret text during this time. A lot of people could be skimming through text, not really focusing in on the details, or overlooking the details, or looking too deep into the details. And a lot of people can mistake what you say and take it out of context. So you do have to look forward to miscommunication being a possibility during this time. Technical or electrical issues could be another manifestation during this retrograde. Now, with Mercury being in retrograde, televisions, computers, cell phones, even cars might malfunction. So I know if you have an electric car, you may accidentally forget to charge it one night. You may check your phone. I think you could do that with an electric car. Check your phone to see like the percentage on your car or whatever. And your phone may tell you that it's at 50% or 70% or whatever. And you go and get in the car and it's at 5%. So things like that could take place. Same thing with your phone. You might forget to plug your phone up in the morning and you miss your alarm because your phone was dead overnight or something like that. Or you forget to charge your computer and you use your computer for work. Things like that definitely could take place. And again, even the lights in your house, your apartment, whatever, they could be flickering. A light bulb may go out on you. Your charger, or even your hair dryer, your flat iron, whatever, it could lose its voltage and it might need a replacement. So those are some things that could take place as far as technical and electrical issues during this retrograde. And don't forget, we're in Pisces season, so things could get stolen as well, okay? Since we are in Pisces season experiencing this transit, carjackings could take place. That could be a possibility. So be careful if you're going out at night, if you're going out to hang with friends, you're in an unfamiliar part of town. Um, maybe you're adventuring off and trying to experience something new, going to some hole in the wall restaurant or bar or whatever. You could even experience misplacing your keys. Maybe you get, you start feeling good, you're drinking a little too much, and next thing you know, you misplace your phone, you misplace your keys. So that could happen. Just be careful. The vibe might be off with you and your casual fling as well. Your fling may ghost you. That could be a possibility. Or you decide to ghost them because the vibe's off. You're not really feeling it anymore, or they're not feeling it anymore. And usually with Pisces energy, because again, we're in Pisces season, ghosting is a possibility. And I know Gemini likes closure, Gemini likes to communicate, or just Mercury in general likes a form of understanding, a form of communication. And you might not get that with it being in Pisces season. So don't overreact if your fleeing or your secret lover or whoever you are in cahoots with decides to ghost you and disappear. They may not give you any type of reason or any type of closure as to why they've done that. A lot of Mercury and Pisces individuals, they could be just babbling off out the mouth, being overstimulated. Because again, if you do have a Mercury and Pisces, emphasis on Mercury and Pisces, you may be the type to be overly sensitive and overly emotional during this time. Now, some things I would advise of you during this transit, a lot of you, because it is that season for people receiving their refund checks and whatnot. I would advise for some of you not to purchase anything contractually binding during this time. That is a big no no during Mercury in retrograde, and that is due to the fact that the fine print may include insufferable restrictions or limitations that will be placed upon you. So, again, you really do have to carefully comb out the details and make sure that you're looking over everything before you go ahead and sign into, maybe it's a new lease for an apartment or whatever it is. You have to be careful during this Mercury in retrograde transit. You might also go out of your way to test drive a few cars, and there may be one that piques your interest. But be careful because there's a possibility that you could purchase a lemon because with it being, Pisces season and everything like that, things could appear too dreamy, things could appear too good to be true. You think you're getting a good deal, and now you're locked into a contract paying a note on a limit that you've got to dump a ton of money into and a ton of maintenance into. And so if you're tempted, just fall back. Just fall back and focus on what you need to focus on. Continue to save, continue to um, look for cars, but I would not go out of my way to purchase one during this time. I just would not recommend it. Also, if you're tempted to get a new cell phone, a new laptop, a new camera, any type of technology for that matter, I would recommend that you wait until after the retrograde is over because, again, things may be too good to be true. Now, if you're going to go out on a whim and purchase like some new tech or whatever, make sure that you do get a warranty and make sure that you do get some type of protection and make sure that when you purchase it, you are able to return it just in case you're not satisfied with your purchase. Because, like I said, things may be too good to be true. You might come across a new camera, a new phone, or whatever, and think it's a good deal, and in return, you find out that it's not. So, I would just wait until this retrograde is over. Now, let's talk about the two signs that deal with Mercury and that are ruled by Mercury, Gemini and Virgo. These are the two beneficiaries of this transit since their ruling planet is Mercury. And with that being said, if you are a Gemini, you might experience being overstimulated with a lot of information, a lot of conversations taking place, and of course, different options that you may have. Now, that's not just for Gemini, but for Virgo as well. Both of you can experience that. Now, on the Gemini side of things, Geminis have an opportunity to hustle and network during this retrograde due to the possibility of making new connections and those newer connections being heightened during this time. I would recommend though that if you are a Gemini, you have, Gemini aspects in your chart, in your natal chart, just make sure that you slow down, reassess your actions before going through with whatever you may have planned. So if you have made any type of plans, expect for those plans to possibly fall short due to it also being Pisces season, and a lot of that Pisces energy deals with someone being fickle, someone flaking, but also Gemini can represent some fickleness as well. So just imagine for your plans not to fall through as you may have imagined them to, with it being, with us currently experiencing this Mercury in retrograde transit, but also it being in Pisces season. Gemini also needs to double check their responses and their inboxes, as you might overlook an important email or text message that could make or break a connection. So you may establish a future connection with someone who could very much so benefit you in your current standing, with your finances, with your career, with your social circle and whatnot. But you need to make sure that you're double checking your responses, because you might overlook something that could potentially make or break that connection. Now, let's talk about consequences of this transit, okay? For those of you who are a Gemini, your actions definitely could put you in jail during this time, since we are in Pisces season, and Pisces does represent imprisonment and being isolated from society. That is a possibility because Gemini is the con artist of the of the zodiac. So, with Gemini being the con artist of the zodiac, a lot of you Geminis could come up during this time. You definitely could come up during this time, especially with people getting their tax refunds. It's just a possibility that you could easily gain a lot of profit from selling a few lemons. Maybe you're you're good with your mouthpiece. You have an auction license. You're able to go and get a couple cars for a couple $100 and put them online and sell them and come up a few thousands of dollars due to you having the gift of gab and whatnot. Also, you could go to the pawn shop, get on eBay, get on Amazon, order some tech, and try to pass it off as refurbished or brand new, lightly used, and whatnot, and come up a couple $1,000s as well by doing stuff like that. I gotta give it to Gemini. They are the con artists, they do have the gift of gab, and with it being Pisces season, you could easily con your way through a couple fools. Um, and if you have a habit of getting supplies from your dealer, let me just say that, if you know what I'm putting down, yeah, stay the course and don't even consider that during this retrograde, because you might have the urge to escape, free your mind a little bit, since you could be overwhelmed. Again, this is a retrograde, so a lot of people can be overstimulated, overwhelmed, and maybe that little, you know, herb is calling your name. And so you hit up your homeboy Big Mike for some shit, and you go and pick it up, all willy nilly, have it in your car. Next thing you know, you're getting pulled over on your way home. Probably hitting that stuff while you're driving too, and now you're on your way to the slammer for a DUI and possession of substances. So just be careful during this transit. I just got to be honest about that. Just be careful during this transit. I know you Geminis, y'all like to get out, y'all like to be active, y'all like to be social and mobile and all of those things. But I would reconsider some of your familiar habits. Try to rework those during this time, because it just take just one hiccup, and now you're facing the consequences of your actions. Now let's talk about Virgo. Virgos might come up, during this retrograde as well. You guys definitely could come up. You guys could make new contacts. You guys could network as well, same as Gemini. But with Virgo, it's more so going to be through your job or through the services that you provide. You might be booking clients during this time and putting them on the schedule for spring, summer. And if you really got it like that, you may have your schedule booked until, the remaining of the year. If you really got it like that and you know how to work it like that, you definitely could have that schedule just piling up with new clientele. Now, if you're a hairstylist, a nail tech, or a photographer, you know what I'm saying? Or you do something like maybe you prepare baked goods, or you are a groomer, you know what I'm saying? You, what is it called? Like trim dogs and cats, and you know what I'm saying? Trim their nails, cut their hair, and everything like that. You definitely could have clients coming to you during this time. That definitely is a possibility. If you're a massage therapist, anything like that, you definitely could be networking and making a lot of clientele. And this could be through word of mouth or whatever have you. But mostly during this time throughout this retrograde, you will be able to network. And like I said earlier, it will be through your job, through the services that you provide. Now, people will be seeking out your services, but the downside to this is that the clientele who are booking with you currently, so these aren't your regulars, these are new people. During this retrograde, this could manifest as these potential clients being too picky, and they may lack punctuality, they may not be on time for your services, which that definitely could tick off a Virgo. That could definitely tick off a Virgo because you'll have to, push back your schedule in order to um, fulfill whatever obligation or duty you have to these clients who aren't respecting your time and being punctual. So you have to be careful with that because it is Pisces season. So anybody you're coming across now during Pisces season, some of that energy of Pisces could be intermingled within what's going on or what is to take place in the future. So they may even ghost you when it comes time for their appointment. They may lack all the funds. So you got to be careful with who you're putting down for the schedule during this time. Virgo can struggle with being intuitive because they're more practical. So they may think everything's all good, everything's going smooth, or this person they want, to receive my services, they want to work with me, and you put them down on the schedule, and 3 months later, they hit you with that, oh, hey, boo, text. You know what I'm saying? Oh, hey, boo, something came up. Can I reschedule? You know what I'm saying? You might get hit with that text. So just be careful. That's a possibility with you Virgos dealing with this transit. You may also get in a disagreement with your coworkers during this time. And this could be due to you being too insensitive. Like I said, Virgos are more practical. Okay? They're a little bit more practical, more on that intellectual level. So Virgos naturally come off as Karens. These are the type of people that like to micromanage others. They could be fault finding and lack emotional understanding. Okay? And this is all due to them just being more practical. So a disagreement, miscommunication with coworkers due to you being insensitive could be a possibility during this transit. Some of you Virgos out there, don't even try that front and act like you're just like naturally beautiful, this, that, and the third. No, some of you Virgos out there secretly do be partaking and getting lip filler, facial filler, Botox, liposuction, all of that stuff. So, if you have an urge to go and touch up some of your work, just be careful. I would not schedule it during this transit. I just wouldn't. If you have any appointment, I would reschedule it because things could not go as planned, basically, with us facing this Mercury in retrograde transit, but with it also being in Pisces season. Okay? So, y'all know Virgos be wanting to be perfect and uphold this idea of perfection. If you already have something planned and you want to go tweak it and maintain your maintenance and whatnot, just reschedule, wait until this transit is over. Also, if you have an appointment during this time for any surgery, I would also recommend that you reschedule it due to the retrograde as well. So you might get a result that you don't like due to the technical malfunctions, such as your surgeon's technique may be off during this time. Your surgeon could be overwhelmed from a previous patient or from surgeries that they've been doing And by the time they get to you, they're just winging it. They're suturing you up, and sending you on your way with a rushed result. And as a Virgo, you could definitely be upset because a detail was overlooked and a mistake was made. And so you definitely could be unhappy with your result. So I would just wait until the transit is over. Consider taking a vacation at a resort or on a cruise ship to relieve some stress from your regular duties and services that you provide. You also could come across the ability to make new connections with people who may share similar interests to you. And it could be very beneficial, especially just, relieving stress, having a peace of mind, being isolated away from your responsibilities for a little bit. That could very much so be beneficial to a Virgo during this time. Now, let's talk about some other things that I'm kind of gonna skim over this. I'm not really gonna go like full head on into it. Now, as you can tell by this picture, who I'm not really going to address them by their name, but if you look at the picture, you know who we're talking about. And if you don't, oh well. Now, I won't go into detail, like I said, about what's cooking with this person in particular, but just know Mercury in retrograde during Pisces season plays a role in what he's actively doing. Um, Definitely plays a role into that and everything that's going on. That's it. That's all for this video. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to give it a like, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in my next video.